Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andy Acord. I'm the Deputy Chief of the Narcotics Division of the Dallas Police Department. I wanted to talk to you briefly today about a death that occurred on August 13th of 2011. A young man by the name of Matthew Allen, 19 years of age, died as a result of a drug overdose, that drug being ecstasy. Soon after his death, an investigation was initiated that involved homicide, narcotic, and vice detectives. Through the course of the investigation, we were able to determine that Mr. Allen had been at Club Afterlife previous to his death. Also through the course of this investigation, we were able to identify the individual we believe he was responsible for delivering the drugs to Mr. Allen that ultimately caused his death. This occurred at Club Afterlife. This individual's name is Skylar Brandt, a young woman about 19 years of age who is currently in police custody. She is being charged with delivery of a controlled substance causing death, which is a felony 1 offense. In addition to Ms. Brandt's arrest, we also identified several other individuals who were involved in trafficking offenses, drug trafficking offenses, at Club Afterlife. We have issued 6 arrest warrants for those individuals. Those individuals are not in custody at this time, but are currently being pursued. In addition to the criminal side of this investigation, we're also taking an administrative action towards Club Afterlife. It is our belief that employees, management, and/or ownership had knowledge that drug activity was taking place inside Club Afterlife and failed to take appropriate action to stop that type of activity. To that end, the Vice Section, in conjunction with the City Attorney's Office, is issuing a revocation letter hereby revoking the dance hall permit to Club Afterlife. We've got to take any questions that you have.
Initially, when he died, when Matthew Allen died, there was talk that he was seizing in the club, and that the bouncers had just let them go or kicked them out of the club. Was there any investigation into that action by them not helping him at the time?
To my knowledge, I don't have any information on that.
Okay. Because this is the second club now that you guys have shut down. What is the message you're sending to these rave club owners?
Well, our message is that if we receive complaints that any nightclub in town and/or individuals who are contributing to the demise of young people in the city of Dallas, that we will investigate those complaints to the fullest extent possible and prosecute, if appropriate, to the fullest extent possible to the law.
What did he actually OD on?
Ecstasy.
Okay. How did you link her to him eventually?
Well, through investigations, we were able to determine that she was the individual who actually delivered the drugs to Mr. Allen that he ingested and ultimately caused his death. And
he ingested them at the club?
That is my understanding.
Do you know how many pills she sold him a bags? Or?
I do not.
Chief, how big are we talking? Is this a huge operation you guys are looking at with these other individuals and her?
Well, it involves 6 other individuals. Those individuals are not related to the death. However, they were involved in drug trafficking activity inside Club Afterlife, and then we will pick them up as soon as we can locate them.
Are they employees of the club?
Not to my knowledge.
This isn't the first time you guys have had to deal with Afterlife. It's my understanding when y'all were really cracking down on some of the clubs over several years ago off of Harry Hines and in that area in the Northwest Division, that this was one of the clubs that you looked at, and you may even have spoken to these club owners and warned them about what was going on in their club. Do you have any knowledge of that?
That may very well have occurred. However, that would have been prior to my tenure in narcotics.
How long have they had their dance hall license?
They've had it for several years. I think it's due to come up and expire before too much longer.
Can we talk to Melissa?
Sure.
Sure.
So we can what can you tell us about pulling the dance hall license? Because when you tried to do this before with the dark side, y'all had to get a TRO, and then you had to go to court to get a restraining. What's different about this one versus the Afterlife or dark side?
Darkside didn't actually have a dance hall permit. In fact, they were operating kind of under the guise that they were something other than a dance hall. In their case, it was a church. Club Afterlife actually applied for their dance hall license, I believe, 3 years ago. I can read that's close. And so they are a licensed dance hall, and that's regulated under our Chapter 14 of the City Code. And there's a provision in that code that allows us to revoke their dance hall license under certain circumstances. One of which is if employees or the licensee knowingly allow the use, sales, or possession of drugs on the premises.
And has your office investigated this club prior to this particular action?
We have. The city attorney's office and the police department have had concerns about this location for some time. I know that we met with the club operator a couple of years ago. I believe that was the same operator that it is today, and told him about our concerns, and one of them being that we had concerns that there was drug use inside the club. So yes, the answer is yes, we have had ongoing concerns about the club.
And unfortunately, check against the death of Matthew Allen for them to take notice. The club. And you've informed him of that you're yanking his dance hall license?
We issued the letter, the revocation letter today, in conjunction with the other actions of the police department. That was a vice licensing unit action. So the letter actually went out to him today, and he may, by virtue of your broadcast, learn that we're revoking his license.
You had mentioned knowingly allowed. How was it determined that the club was letting this go on with their knowledge? And that may be a question you may need to address. I don't know.
Probably would be appropriate to address right now.
Okay.
Yeah, those are all. These arrests today were a result of ongoing investigations since Matt Allen's death, and so that information will all come to light if they choose to challenge the revocation.
Can you give me your name and title?
My name is Melissa Miles. I'm an assistant city attorney for the city of Dallas.
When y'all brought up the concerns a couple of years ago with him, how did he react to that? What was Mr. Anis's stance?
I don't recall what Mr. Anis said specifically. I recall telling him of our concerns. I recall him denying that he felt like they had such problems at the club. We had other concerns with the club, code issues. They had not at that time received all of their necessary license and permits that they have today. So there were multiple issues, and I just recall that he was there with an attorney, I believe. That's my recollection, and he assured us that he would address our concerns.
Were some of these drugs that were being sold in the club being sold to kids? Because they do allow underage in those clubs.
And I couldn't speak to that. I couldn't speak to the details of the narcotics investigation.
Chief, you probably went over this. What's some of the charges being charged here?
As I mentioned earlier, the individual who we believe is responsible for delivering the drugs to Mr. Allen is Skylar Brandt. Ms. Brandt is being charged with delivery of controlled substance causing death, that substance being ecstasy. The other charges for the other individuals are also drug-related warrants.
How many we have arrested with this case?
We've arrested one individual, Ms. Brandt.
Chief, will you tell him the date of birth, because he's going to need to get a mugshot at the county?
Okay, the date of birth of Ms. Brandt is October 2nd of 1992.
I think that's it, huh?
Thank you.